You won't believe what happened when a billionaire tried to humiliate a black worker. What started as mockery ended up being the biggest lesson that man's life would ever teach him. Right now, before I get into this story, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Black Voices because you won't want to miss stories like this ever again. Seriously, hit that button. It takes 1 second, but it helps us bring you more stories that matter. It all started in one of the tallest skyscrapers in New York City, the kind of building where the marble floors shine so bright you can see your reflection from 10 feet away, and the elevators are bigger than some people's apartments. At the top of this building sat a man named Richard Carlton, billionaire, ruthless, and the kind of guy who thought his money made him untouchable. He had it all: cars, a penthouse, private jets. But he had this one blind spot. He looked down on anyone who wasn't in his league, especially the staff who kept his empire running. And that's where we meet Jordan, a black man in his early 30s, working as a janitor in Carlton's company. Jordan was quiet, humble, and always moved through the world with a sense of calm dignity, but most people, especially the upper management, underestimated him. They laughed at him behind his back. "He's just a cleaner," they'd say. "He doesn't know anything about business." Jordan didn't mind. He had dreams bigger than their laughter, and he had a secret no one suspected. You see, Jordan wasn't just a janitor. Every night, after everyone left, he stayed in the office, reading reports, memorizing numbers, learning the patterns of the company. He didn't have fancy degrees or business connections, but he had something far more valuable: determination and intelligence no one thought he had. And he had a plan that would shock the billionaire who mocked him daily. One Monday morning, Richard Carlton was in a particularly bad mood. He had investors coming in, and he needed to make a good impression. He walked past the staff room and saw Jordan wiping the floors. "Hey," Carlton shouted, smirking, "don't get any ideas today. Remember, you're just a janitor. Don't embarrass me." His voice echoed through the lobby, and the other employees snickered. Jordan just nodded politely and kept working. What Carlton didn't know was that Jordan had already spotted a problem. The company's latest financial projections were about to collapse because of a small but critical mistake in the accounting department. A mistake that could cost Carlton millions. Jordan had been quietly tracking it for weeks, double-checking the numbers, and he knew exactly what needed to be fixed. But how could a janitor convince a billionaire to listen? The moment came faster than anyone expected. That afternoon, an emergency call came from one of Carlton's investors. The numbers were off. The investors were furious. They threatened to pull out unless Carlton could explain the mistake immediately. Panic swept through the office. The CFO was scrambling, the executives were sweating, and Carlton? He was turning red with anger, pacing like a caged animal. Jordan saw his chance. He walked up to the CFO, calm as ever. "Sir," he said quietly, "I think I know exactly where the problem is. I can show you." The CFO looked at him like he'd lost his mind. "You? The janitor?" But Carlton, desperate and furious, finally allowed it. Jordan took them through the data, pointing out the exact error that had been missed by the supposedly high level. Staff, numbers, charts, projections, everything. Within 15 minutes, he had fixed the problem, and the investors were satisfied again. Carlton was stunned. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He looked at Jordan, who was still calm and composed, and for the first time realized he had seriously underestimated this man. Over the next few weeks, Jordan continued to quietly show his value. He suggested small changes to operations, spotted inefficiencies, and helped turn around projects that had been failing for months. All without asking for recognition, all without demanding attention. But word spread quickly. Employees who once laughed at him were now watching with respect. And Carlton? He was forced to confront a truth he had never considered. His wealth and status didn't make him smarter than everyone else. Jordan's mind and his heart were the real assets. One day, Carlton called Jordan into his office, the same office where he had mocked him weeks ago. "Jordan," he said, hesitating, "I owe you an apology. I judged you. I thought you were just a cleaner, but you've saved this company. You've saved me. I can't ignore that." Jordan smiled politely. "It's okay, sir. I just wanted to help." Carlton shook his head. "No, you deserve more than just an apology. I want you to be part of this company officially, not as a janitor, as my partner." Jordan's life changed that day. From being the unnoticed janitor, he became the man who ran operations at one of the most powerful companies in New York. And he never forgot the people who had doubted him. He made sure to lift up other black workers, giving opportunities to those who had talent but no platform. He had proven one thing: your position in society doesn't define your intelligence, your worth, or your ability to change the world. Richard Carlton, the billionaire who had once mocked him, learned a lesson he would never forget. Pride, arrogance, and underestimating others had cost him almost everything. But because of Jordan's determination, skill, and patience, he not only saved his company, but also discovered the value of humility. If there's one thing this story teaches us, it's that greatness often hides where we least expect it, and the world can be blind to talent if it's wrapped in a uniform. Jordan didn't just clean floors. He built a legacy, he changed a life, and he reminded everyone that respect isn't given based on titles or money. It's earned by actions. So, if you enjoyed this story, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to Black Voices. Share it with your friends. Drop a comment below telling us what you would have done in Jordan's place, and make sure this story inspires someone else today, because stories like this deserve to be told and remembered. Remember, never underestimate anyone, and never stop learning. You might just be the next person to turn the impossible into reality.